rest of this stuff. Let's start with The Guardian. Speaking of disinformation, see what I did there? But here's the headline reads, Sinister Sounds. Podcasts are becoming the new medium of misinformation. And while social networks are clamping down on dangerous content, podcasting is giving it a largely unmoderated platform. Look at the term there, unmoderated, right? We can't have that now, can we? We certainly cannot have unmoderated conversation in any capacity, because then, well, you've escaped the propaganda cycle. You've escaped the spying eye of Big Brother. Yeah, this is a little bit ridiculous, but let's see what's going on. They got a picture of our good buddy Joe Rogan. Of course, he doesn't know who I am or whatever, but I consider him a good buddy because he's the godfather of the podcasting business, right? Anyway, let's read some of this article from The Guardian. In the drawn-out aftermath of the U.S. election, Amelia's dad... Okay, I'm not gonna do this anecdotal... Okay, here we go. In the U.S., Australia, and across the Anglosphere, people regularly spend hours with strangers talking directly into their ears. What's up? I'm one of those strangers. Michael Strange. 007, licensed to podcast. The article continues. Around 1/3 of Australian news consumers are reported to be podcast listeners, and indications are that numbers have grown during the pandemic. Yet, the role of podcasts in the information ecosystem has gone largely unexamined. Ooh, we can't have that, can we? No, hell no. All right, so this continues. While alt-right figures have been increasingly chased off Facebook and Twitter, podcasting is shaping up as the next arena where the fight over questionable or dangerous content will play out. However, the problem of how to moderate audio content is proving thorny. The gall of these people, right? They're like, all right, we've encroached into every area of media, and now we have this one problem left. These damn podcasters, they won't shut up. They just keep talking. They just keep reading the news. They just keep doing their thing, and it's pissing us off because we can't counter all of it. It's just a deluge of truth. And I tell you what, when that happens, they're watching out our news cycle, right? They're going against the hard work that we do to make everybody believe the carefully scripted lies. So yeah, let's continue reading this a little bit. This is crazy. This is insane to me that this is where we're at, right? We end up so often, like we look at the censorship on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and it's unbelievable that they get away with this stuff. Like, man, you don't want me anywhere near government, like I said about the presidency last night, because I would stick my boot on the neck of Facebook and Twitter and the rest of these guys. Like, you want your 230 protections? Forget it. It's gone. It is gone because you continue to quote fake fact check everything, completely just drop things off in the name of what would you call it? It's a political correctness, but it's not even that. It's just it becomes. That's the shield they use so that they can say, so they can draw the lines of what you can and can't say, and it's disgusting. Publisher, platform, that whole argument, but this is not good. This is literally not one of those good things, and we shouldn't be celebrating this. Like The Guardian, shame on you for publishing this. Shame on you for thinking this way. And here's the best part. Here, the stupid people that are calling for this are the people that are eventually going to get censored, right? Like you're literally calling for the censorship of yourself, because it will never end. It literally will never end. It starts somewhere, but it does not end until there's nobody left to silence. And whoever runs The Guardian, you're an awful source. Anyway. I'm not going to go full on anti-Guardian here, even though there's a lot to say about it. But shame on you. You're basically putting yourself in the spot of me, right? Because once you get me and everybody else that has something to say, they're going to come for you, buddy. And you're the one calling for it. So here we go. Let's see. Let's read a little bit more. The episode, let's see, take Bannon's War Room. Now they're talking about Steve Bannon, of course, right? Because alt-right and OMG, and once you unperson them, and I'm not going to say anything good about Steve Bannon or otherwise. I don't really care. Like, if you don't like him, don't listen to him. It's as simple as that. But instead, right, because he's got an audience, because people are interested, because whatever, they get pissed off because they've labeled him a malcontent, right? The digital malcontent that they need to shut up. So here we go. Take Bannon's War Room. A November episode of the show was removed from YouTube due to Bannon's violent comments about the leader of the United States pandemic response, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and the FBI director, Christopher Wray. Quote, "I'd put the heads on pikes, right?" Bannon said. "I'd put them at the two corners of the White House as a warning to federal bureaucrats." Okay, so if you can't actually separate hyperbole from reality, when you're this is entertainment as well. This is, if that was a threat, if you really think these are threats, people, then you need to go look at Twitter and what the hell's going on over there, because there's actual threats going on over on Twitter, like from blue checkmark people. I mean, it's unbelievable how much is allowed from a particular group of people, but then if you're outside of that group, nothing's allowed, and this is exactly the point with the Guardian and the rest of this. It's just gross. Here we go. Let's read a little bit more. So whatever, right? So he said that he and they're like, oh, you can't have that. So the episode remains on Google Podcast, which is owned by the same company. And while Bannon was booted off Twitter for the comments and the show appears to have been removed from Spotify, you can still find it on Apple Podcasts and Pocket Casts, right? See, so it's not good enough. It's not good enough to take them from Spotify and from here and there and everywhere. You got to get them off entirely. You got to scrub them from the internet. You got to make it so nobody hears a single word you ever said. It goes, where's it go? Into the memory hole. And you know what that term comes from? 1984. And once it goes in the memory hole, it never comes back. And this is exactly what they want. This is frightening and stupid and all this at the same time. Unbelievable. We'll read just a little bit more of this, and then we'll move on to another companion piece of this, where the tech censorship never ends. And here they are, just flat out saying it, putting it in your face and saying, hey, we reserve the right to shut you the F up. That's what they're saying. And it's not happening fast enough, and it's not happening to our satisfaction on all mediums, right? Like, what the hell is this? Okay, so quote from the article. Apps such as Apple and Google Podcasts are significant gatekeepers of what kind of audio content reaches our ears, says Evelyn Douek, a lecturer at Harvard Law School, although they function more as directories for organizing and discovering shows than as a social networking platform, and have varying degrees of oversight and control. And again, right? So since Apple and Google Podcasts are the significant gatekeepers, it's not enough. Even though eventually it's coming. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, this type of thing, like, again, as innocuous as it is, me saying that tech companies cracking down on speech is not controversial whatsoever. It just is not. But they're going to make it that way. They're going to make it so I'm the enemy, right? Podcasts are becoming the new medium of misinformation. It's disgusting. This is disgusting. This is exactly where we're headed. And if we're not bitching and moaning about this constantly and bringing this up as much as possible and pointing out the hypocrisy in all of this, then there's a problem, right? Like, we have a big problem. We have a big society problem. There's a lot of problems we have. And this is one of the biggest ones right here. And it just kind of slides right under the radar, flies under the radar. Nobody gives a shit. Like I said on the show last night on Troubled Minds, nobody seems to notice and nobody seems to care. Straight from the George Carlin skit. And it's true. This stuff is insane. But here they go. They're doing it. They don't give a damn. And yeah, all right. So here we go. Let's move on to the companion piece of this. Now, this is Dave Rubin on Twitter, right? One of those dirty right-wingers. Like, how dare this man have an opinion of his own that doesn't sit in the mainstream. But check this out. Now, I noticed this on Twitter, and this is part of the games they play. He says, this is incredible. 2 weeks before the election, Twitter changed how you retweet because they obviously didn't want certain things to go viral. Now that they got the result they want, they're going back to the old way. Big tech is manipulating us in ways we can't imagine. Now, and that's the problem, right? So not only are they calling out for it blatantly and outright, on The Guardian and saying, well, these damn podcasters, they won't shut up. They won't take us and put us in we can't put them in a position where we control them. And so it's a problem. And this is a problem, right? But then we have this. So we have the overt call to shut people up. And then we also have the tinkering with the algorithms, right? With we're beta testing some shit just before the election, so you can't easily retweet things. I don't know if you guys noticed. Let me try and retweet this live right here on the stream. But so the way Twitter used to be is you could hit the little retweet button right here, right? You hit it, and it pops up and it gives you a little retweet box. Okay, let's see. Can we do it? Is it working? Oh, come on. It's not even working. Oh, piece of crap. For all the press and how rich Twitter is and the money they make, they are an atrocious platform. Like the way shit works or doesn't work. Okay, but anyway, so you're supposed to be able to hit the retweet button, and what it would do is it would just retweet this, right? With no commentary, nothing. You could quote it and be able to type in a little response. I saw this and I wanted you guys to see it, right? This type of thing, and then the retweet. Or you could simply just hit the retweet button and it would just put it up. You didn't have no commentary necessary, no emoji, no anything. Just retweet it, share the information. And clearly, if you have to stop and write a sentence, it's stopping things from being shared, right? Like so we get these stupid retweets with the little emoji because you can't just retweet it anymore. You have to write something. But you see. So for all the bitching about voter suppression, here we go. We've got tech suppression happening on the daily, constantly against every single one of us. Beta tested 2 weeks before the election, and this is not real. I mean, this is not a thing. Like, yeah, it's gross. It's not good.